Right, tea break is over and it's now time for step 16. Looks like it's the top deck on the front end. Let's open up bag 16. Looks like these next three stages will get us to the end of the front end of the car, if you know what I mean. Okay. So what have we got to do first? We've got to attach the shock tower to this. So stick out the front shock tower of our bag of S2 parts. There it is. These are different than the LD2 one because it's kind of got pockets that have been machined out, so it gives it a bit less weight and maybe a bit more flex. So yeah, it's all good. So let's start off with getting the bolt studs on. So I need a 2mm driver and a 5.5mm nut driver, and looks like they're going in the middle hole on the tower. So these pockets are facing forwards, so I'll put these in, wind them on. And then we'll attach that to the bulkhead, I believe it's called. So, another way of doing it is starting the threads with your fingers, then go to the nut driver. Right, that's ready. Now, so we need screws A for this one, so they're the 12mm screws. We've also got some countersunks, 4 of those. And there's 2 longer screws as well. The 14mm ones, which are B's, and the B's are the ones that go screw it down through the top here. Okay, so let's attach that onto there, using these. All just pretty basic, this section. Just screw it all together. Okay. Right, so basically I'll put those 4 screws in and I'll come back to you. Okay, so those 4 screws are now in, so the front shock tower is attached to the bulkhead. That's all done. I think the next part is to attach this to your the front end here. So just ease that over there, and it just drops down and put it into position. Normally I think we only use the bottom holes, but for the sake of a new build we'll put all the screws in. And if you want to take out the top holes, you can take the screws out of them. So the long screws, the 14s, they go through the front into the bulkhead here, and because it's a plastic bulkhead, they won't need any thread lock, which you would probably want to use with the alley one if you're using the alley upgraded bulkhead, which generally you would use in a dry car, but not so much necessary in a wet car or dirt car, as you want it. Generally want plastics for so they're lighter and they flex a bit more, gives the car a bit more grip. Okay, so once they're in, then we just put the screws in the sides here. Start off with one here, and then I won't bore you with me just screwing screws in, so I'll get all those in and come back to you. Right, so all of these screws have now been screwed in, so it's all one piece. When I come to put the servo in, I will have to take these side screws out and these top screws out. Top deck comes off, and then you can install the servo. To tighten up the servo horn, you probably just have to run your driver through here to tighten up the servo horn. There is plenty of room to get your driver in there. So that is that step completed. Moving over to step 17. It's like this is the wishbones. Right, what we've got here is new wishbones for the LD3 are slightly different to the LD2. By the ends, they run these little metal insert bushings that slot into the ends of the wishbones. I started using these on the L1R, and they seem like a good system. But if you're using the alloy yokes and so on, you've got to make sure that you clean up your threads and use plenty of thread lock so that the screws don't back out whilst you're going around the track. Okay, so we've got our yokes here, so our left and right hand yokes. We've got a pair of those, pair of wishbones. Yep, that is how they paired up. Lovely. A little bit of flashing on there, just remove that. Otherwise they look fine. And these are the new inserts that go in this little section here. And these you can adjust, fine tune your settings by using them. So we've got all the parts out. Let's see what we need to build. So this is the first time I've built this front end. So start off with the insert, and then we also will need some of these little spacers which replace the old quick clips, I believe. So this is going to take a little more time. So the front camber lip, we're going to use number A. We look at these, they are marked up A, B, C, and then you can turn them around and so on. So I'll cut these out of the mouldings with my little side cutters. We'll do one at a time. Pretty windy out there today. You can hear the wind blowing. Okay, right. So let's have a look. If we match the picture, that looks like the left hand side. It doesn't seem to be marked up, which is which, but the little insert is literally just yeah. I'll do it so you can see the A from the outside, so it shows through that. And then we need to use a 10mm button head screw, which will be one of these, to connect it to the ball stud. Give it a little clean up as I normally do. Nice and dirty. Right, so we'll run that through, and then we'll need the ball stud to be thread locked on. So these have got a little hexagon shaped insert, so I can't imagine they'd come loose very easily. So that's start tightening up and then locate that in there, and then that's held in place by the hexagonal shape. So that's one side done. Might as well do the other whilst I'm here. So I need a 10mm screw, which will be you. I mean, I'm doing it by eye. When you've done them a few times, you know which screws are which. Okay, and we need the other A insert. So that will be the opposite to that one. So the hole needs to be this side. There we go. It's a bit more complex than they used to be, but I guess with these little inserts and so on, you can fine tune your setup a bit more than with just the old setup where you had just 2 holes or, you know, a couple of shims. This gives it definitely a bit more fine tuning. You can kind of go half a hole rather than, you know, like a hole. So yeah, very much fine tuning the setup by having these little inserts. Okay, so they're prepared. Now let's say next thing to do is just to attach. Oh, okay, so pre-tap the holes with the screw provided. So this is our pre-tap screw. Use a 2.5mm driver, and that will be pre-tapping all the way through here, I assume, because the screws will be coming in from either side. So I'll do this and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so the holes have been pre-tapped, so they're all good. Let's see what's next to do. We need to attach the left hand, right hand sides to the wishbones. Now, let's see if we can try and figure out which one's which. That to me looks like a right, so that would be a left. Yep, okay. And then this guy here will sit on here with the ball stud facing forwards, so that must be my left. I'll pair that off with that one. So these inserts go on the inside of the wishbone. Slide them in like that's the danger of doing it. You don't want to do this in the middle of a field. A little fiddly. And you kind of wiggle them in. So they're sitting in there, trying to keep it flat so they don't fall out. So according to this, you want the 12mm screw at the back and the 14mm screw at the front. So there's 2 screws. Okay, so there's my 14. That's my 12 there. 2mm driver. Ready? We also want a 1.5mm black spacer. So we look on here and see which is the 1.5. Not particularly clear. Ah, there's a drawing. So it's the second one. Okay. So I trim that off the tree. And might as well do both of them. Right, so this is the fiddly bit. So I would think the best way of doing this is to get the screw through with the little spacer on it and then slot the yoke through the gap and try and get it all to sit in position. It's a bit of a tricky one. Right, so the shim's on, and then I'll line that up through here. It's a bit of a snug fit. There we go. It's just kind of held in place there by being a tight fit. Now, because obviously I've pre-tapped the holes, all I've got to do now is just wind the screw in and it's caught straight away. Now, nothing's going to fall apart now, so I can put the other screw in and tighten it all up. And then repeat it on the other side. So I'll just finish this side up quick. And that matches the picture in the manual. So it all moves freely. So that's the front, and that's got the 1.5 spacer there, so it's running short wheelbase. Okay, right, I'll repeat the other side and come back to you. Okay, so we've got our left and right hand wishbones all put together. Hopefully I've done that correctly. Looks about right. Moving on to step 18. This is the front hubs, I believe. Okay, so we've got our hubs and all the hardware, and I'm guessing we're going to need the little steering plates. Let's have a look in here and see if they're in the bag. Let's put these up here. Right, so that's one of the steering plates. The other one must be, oh yes, here it is. Don't need that for now. Right, that seems to be everything we need. So this is a complex little area. So what do we need in this one? So we need a 2mm spacer and a 1mm spacer. So we need to, I think what we'll do is we'll pair everything up so it's organised. We've got one of those for each side, a couple more of these like top hat washers, whatever you want to call them. They call them, not sure what they call them actually. Okay, so we've got a selection of screws and black washers and things. So we've got nuts, black washers. Guess the short screws would be for putting the steering plates on. And then we have a few longer screws. So we have 6. They are 4 of that size and 2 of the longer ones. Okay, so this is step 18. Right, whilst we're here, we will remove. We need a 1mm spacer and a 2mm spacer. Just cut these out of the tray. So we want one for each side. So there's a 1. I'll drop that on the floor. That's good. Not. And then one more on this side, and then I'm going to have to go and look for that 1mm spacer, which I just dropped on the floor. That's the danger when you cut them out with something like that. They can ping off. Right, I will go and find that and get back to you.